So, been a while. I thought I'd just take a minute to overall explain the channel's idleness, where it was going, and where it may be going, just for a bit. Long story short, um, short hiatus is due to work changes, technical changes, me working on projects, as well as even off-grid systems for other people and doing consulting for that. You know, expanding my horizons uh, to say to the point where I'm utilizing my skills properly and not just working a wage job just because I can. Of course, there's nothing wrong with that, especially if you need some cash on hand. But let's take things a little bit back. I started messing with batteries and everything around that nature a long time ago when we were doing some RC car type things and we had to run batteries across the field. Long story short, I said, I'll bring the power to you, and then proceeded to make that non-issue, got into mobile power systems, everything like that. Around that same time, I also started doing business consulting and admin work for a construction company. That being said, a lot of crap has happened to the point where I'm looking at, a spider web of opportunities. For me, struggle doesn't come for finding the opportunities. I generally am okay at finding a somewhat decent use for most of my time, and then the opportunities just start snaking towards me. And the problem for me is when 6 or 7 come at once, etc., or even, for goodness sakes, 3, just 3. Now, to narrow this down a little bit more, I have 3 opportunities that would require me to drop a lot. Now, not actually a lot, because a lot of the stuff that I do, motive rebuilds, casual boys, all that, doesn't take much time. Let's get serious for a second here. Over the past few months, I've been doing a little bit of off-grid consulting for just like components, essentially doing what Will Prowse does on his website, which is, hey, how do you put these components together to make a decent off-grid system so that you can either have backup or something to that effect. Now, you must understand that I had no idea that any of this, through meeting a few people, would result in monetary potential whatsoever. This channel is more of meant to be me making videos that I wish I would have known. Like, it just talking things through with people, like giving people ideas. You know, I'm not here to sell you a product, although probably product links will appear from time to time dealing with specific products. However, I'm also here to do cinematic things. I realize a lot of my success was partially due to cinematics, well planned out projects, and fun. Just something people were interested in. This is right on top of my. On a different note, there was a trip the Motive Rebuilds group was going to do, and to just kind of describe how weird everything is going, I'm not going to be able to go. It's to Canada. I'd like to go. I put in my application for EDL, etc., got all that rolling. Now I may move states temporarily. Can't, for project management, you can't choose. You got to pick and choose. The problem with being a generalist is you can't go with everything all at once. That being said, what shall I do? Well, I had a lot of things tugging on my heart lately, mainly with systems and just trying to realize that I can't, make everything my job. Like, my job is being me. When I was really young, I used to say, my parents would ask, what job do you want to be when you grow up? And I'm like, I want to be David. And then I've held fairly true to that. And with that comes me being me, somehow giving me monetary opportunity to the point where I'm looking at this move and the opportunity offered, and I literally did the thing that somebody even advised me against doing, which is, do you really want to pay me this much? Like, this far exceeded my threshold. And he said, dude, I'd want to pay you more.
I'd say go for
it. And I don't know if anybody has ever had, many people probably have this moment of where you don't think, okay, you don't think that something's going to warrant to give anything, produce fruit, or you've been working on things that don't produce fruit. It's just been interesting, and you wanted to do work with it and have fun, but it produces opportunities later, and you're like, I don't know about this. Well, a good friend of mine who was the one who brought me in as a consultant for battery systems, he said, sometimes you have to go down to the wrong path to know it's the wrong path. And of course, obviously, with more extreme things that aren't right, you don't go down those at all. But this is more for, hey, I have 3 different opportunities. If I give one or take the other, there's not going to be much of a change. It's just, tweaking of the mixer board of life in terms of sound. You have a mixer board with all these dials. It's just switching a few things. It's not going to completely change the board. It's just moving chess pieces here and there. You may lose 1 or 2 opportunities, but it's negligible. So with that being said, I have a plan. This plan is to slowly clean up my room, of course. It's bad. Improve my skills with firearms, as I've always wanted to do. Have fun. We've been shooting out a lot, and it's going to be in the B-roll because, we've had a lot of fun with that. More of, dealing. It's almost like this channel has been me dealing with the own concepts I've been just working with. That's cases, the keyboard, which made a whole bunch of success, and I've been debating on doing more on those. However, I don't like doing product videos. I'm more like doing concepts. Like the keyboard video was meant to be, hey, what if you take this keyboard that is budget and just do a few things to it to make it not appear less budget, but just in general be a little bit more professional without dumping hundreds of dollars into this thing. So one of the things I had the idea of doing is for an upcoming trip to Utah, I was going to do a cinematic of Utah. And it's going to happen, it has a name already. It's going to be named Detour because it's meant to embody the feeling of just, hey, there's this thing I want to do. Everybody seems keen on it. However, I'm not comfortable with doing this. I've never done this long of a road trip, for example, and I'm just going to do it. I have never created, like, as Maddie, I don't even know how to say his last name anymore. Abuja would say, it's like his travel feels sort of stuff where it's just like creating an experience that maybe gets people to think about something. That's what I really enjoy doing. Like there's fun, there's going to be all that. However, I do like to get serious a few times, just to say, hey, this is me dealing with something. For example, this cinematic is really meant to induce the feeling of I'm tired, exhausted, worn out. This thing that I think about that I haven't acted on so far, every time I act on it, it feels great, and I do it, and I get some results. But it doesn't make me happy explicitly like sitting down playing a video game or watching YouTube videos for a few hours would. But it leaves me with something. It leaves me with this thing I take home. Unlike sitting down with short form content or whatever, it's empty. This is full of something. It gives me satisfaction on a new level. That's the thing with video production for me. Like, I'm not good at it. However, it gives me a satisfaction of, hey, I did something and I put my time into something that was worth it. I took my applied nerdism to off-grid systems, and I took that and I was able to provide benefit to people as well as being somebody's videographer. Heck yeah. I take, an enjoyment for firearms and I create a group that goes out and shoots and just has fun and just thinks about things. That's great. Utah is going to be the trip where a lot of my groups intermingle, for the first time come together and just have fun together. It's going to be the longest, most